Hey, welcome to Rich Tribe. So today we're going to talk about a classic but seriously powerful tool for getting a handle on your money. It's called the envelope budgeting method.
You know that feeling, right? You get to the end of the month, you look at your bank account, and you're just like, wait, where did all my money go? It's that classic mystery money problem where it just seems to vanish into thin air. And honestly, it can be super frustrating.
And look, this isn't just about the numbers on a screen. It's actually a psychological thing. When you don't know where your money's going, it creates this, constant low-level stress that just hangs over everything.
I mean, think about it. Every single time you swipe your card, there's that little nagging voice in the back of your head going, should I really be buying this? That right there is decision fatigue, and it is exhausting. You start to feel like you've got zero control, like money is just happening to you instead of you telling it what to do. And the worst part, a lot of that spending doesn't even make you happy.
So, the big question is, how do we fight back against this financial fog, right? Well, the solution is surprisingly old school. It's super simple, but unbelievably effective. It's called envelope budgeting.
Okay, so the main idea is it's brilliant in its simplicity. You literally take your incoming cash, and you divide it up into different envelopes for all your expenses. You've got one for groceries, one for gas, one for fun stuff. You get the picture. And here's the magic. Once the cash in an envelope is gone, it's gone. That's it. You stop spending in that category till next month. It creates this hard physical limit that you just can't ignore.
And here's why that works so well. The physical act of handing over cold, hard cash, it just makes spending feel real. You literally feel the money leaving your hands in a way that just swiping a plastic card never will. It forces you to pause for a second and actually think, which, let's be honest, is the #1 enemy of impulse shopping.
All right, so you might be thinking, this sounds complicated. But getting started is way easier than you think. Seriously, let's just walk through the setup. You can probably get this whole thing done in less than an hour.
It really just boils down to 3 simple steps. Okay, step 1, figure out exactly how much money you take home each month. We're talking after taxes, after all the deductions. Step 2, decide where that money needs to go. What are your categories? And then step 3, the fun part. Head to the bank, pull out the cash, and start stuffing those envelopes.
Now, if you're looking at a blank piece of paper thinking, okay, where do I even begin with these limits? I get it. A really great starting point is the 50-30-20 rule. It's a fantastic framework that gives you a nice, balanced place to start without having to overthink a million tiny little categories. So here's the breakdown. Super simple. 50% of your take-home pay goes to your needs. These are the absolute must-haves. Rent, utilities, groceries. Then 30% goes to your wants. That's the fun stuff like eating out, your hobbies, maybe a vacation. And finally, and this is the important part, a non-negotiable 20% goes straight to savings and paying down any extra debt.
Okay, let's put some real numbers to this. Say your take-home pay is $4,000 a month. You could budget, say, $1,400 for rent, $450 for groceries, and so on down the line. What's so cool about this is that every single dollar has a job. That $250 for dining out? That's not a random guess, it's an intentional choice. And that is exactly the amount of cash you're going to put in your dining out envelope.
Okay, I can already hear you through the screen. You're saying, this all sounds great, but I live in the 21st century. I barely ever touch cash. And you're right. That is the single biggest hurdle for this method today. But don't worry, there are definitely some modern workarounds.
Yep, that's the million-dollar question. How do you make a physical system work when all your spending is digital? Well, the good news is you've got a couple of really great options that totally keep the spirit of the method alive, without you having to carry wads of cash around everywhere.
So one way is to do a kind of hybrid system. Let's say you buy something online. Right after you click buy, you go to your physical envelope, take that exact amount of cash out, and set it aside to put back in the bank later. Or you can just go fully digital and recreate the whole envelope idea using some cool modern tools.
The most important thing is to pick a system that you'll actually stick with. There's some amazing apps out there like UNAB or Good Budget that are literally built around this whole digital envelope idea. Another really clever trick, a lot of online banks let you open multiple savings accounts for free. So you could create little sub-accounts and label them groceries, car stuff, vacation fund, and just transfer the money into them each month. Boom, digital envelopes.
All right, so let's get to what I think is the most important part of all of this, the why. Because this system, it's about so much more than just moving numbers around. It's really about changing your entire mindset and taking back control of your financial life.
When you do this, it completely transforms your relationship with money. That little pang of guilt you get when you spend, it's replaced with the confidence of knowing you planned for it. That feeling of your money just disappearing is replaced with this incredible sense of control. For the first time, maybe ever, you are telling your money where to go, not the other way around. And that is how you finally start spending in a way that actually aligns with what you truly value.
But listen, it's so important to have the right mindset here. You are not going to be perfect on day one. This is not a test you can fail. The only goal here is to become more aware. That's it. Every single month you stick with it, you're going to get a little bit better and you're going to learn so much about your own spending habits.
Okay, so before we jump into our final tips for making this whole thing stick for the long haul, if you're getting some value out of this, it would be awesome if you'd subscribe to the Rich Tribe channel. And hey, feel free to like, comment, or share it. It really helps.
All right, because let's be real, a budget is pretty useless if you can't actually stick to it. So for our last section here, let's talk about how to avoid some of the really common traps that can totally derail even the best intentions.
Yeah, these are the classic mistakes people make, like don't budget $200 for groceries if you know darn well you usually spend $500. You're just setting yourself up to fail. And oh, don't forget about those random once-a-year expenses like holiday gifts or car repairs. A great trick is to figure out the yearly cost, divide it by 12, and save that small amount each month in its own envelope. But most importantly, if you have a bad month and you slip up, please do not quit. Just learn from it, brush it off, and start fresh.
And please remember this. Your budget is not carved in stone. It's a living, breathing document. It's a tool that's supposed to serve you. So when you get a raise or your rent goes up or your life goals change, your budget needs to change right along with it. It has to be flexible, otherwise it's just not going to work.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't about restriction. It's the exact opposite. It's about freedom. It's the freedom to spend your money on the things you actually care about without feeling guilty. And it's the freedom to build the financial future you really want. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the very first step you're going to take? What's the first envelope you're going to create?